What is up, and welcome into the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. I'm your host, Ezra McCann, and I'm joined, as always, by my outstanding co-host. He's a Chicago Public League legend. He's a Simeon Wolverine legend. He's a Grambling State Tiger legend. He played second base for Grambling back in the day. He was all swag. It's Brandon Williams, a.k.a. Coach Smoke. And we've got our NFL draft analyst for NBC Sports Chicago. You can catch his work on NBCSportsChicago.com and the My Teams app. It's Glenn Morgan.
Yes.
Good morning, fellas.
Good morning, man. Early afternoon. I mean, come on, man. I thought I sent you the email. You didn't get the email with the new update?
What you got? Please share.
You forgot to add Tennessee Volunteer intramural legend.
Oh,
wait, what?
Wait, you got to explain this.
That's a new one.
I thought you guys were aware of the intramural legendary game I had.
No.
Where on one bad leg that ended up having to get what Viking is it? Like level 2, or is like a Vicodin 2 or something like that. My ankle got so mangled I had to have like a codeine 2 or Vicodin 2, whatever it was. But on one leg, man, I let a resurgent comeback and as a quarterback and was throwing some dimes out there.
So, yeah?
Yeah.
This is new.
So did the football program take a look and say, hey, we need to find out what that kid's about there?
Well, actually, some people were a little salty because I was on another intramural team, and they're like, "Oh, you're on a different intramural." I'm like, "Hey, this is my floor. I can play for my floor too." You know, I was like a free agent in demand, and I had a bad ankle, and my other team was in the playoffs, so I had to play on a bad ankle. So they had me on the line, kind of like blocking, but everyone's an eligible receiver. So I caught the game-winning pass, man. I set a block, spun off, drifted up, kind of like the tight end for the Bears, but unlike him, I actually caught the pass. It was a game-winning pass in the playoff, man, to put us in the semifinals. I'm just saying, man, just some stories, some classic stuff that happened.
The fact that you were double dipping and playing for two teams in the same league, crazy. I have a real issue with that.
Some people did too, man, but it was the last game for my floor, and I had to play for the guys, man. I had the arm, and I had the the know-how, and the dude, he stuck his leg. He leg whipped me on purpose, man. My leg got caught in between his, and I really jammed up my ankle. I had a high ankle sprain.
I got one gripe to mention, and if depending on our listeners out there, hopefully somebody with the IHSA is one of our listeners.
I know where he's going with this. Keep going.
Simeon being a number 2 seed at 9-0.
Okay.
Behind a 1 seed that's 8-1. You have the 2 9-0 teams in the same bracket, and you put the 8-1 team up by itself. That's a problem, especially when the points they calculate, both the 8-1 team and Simeon both had 37 points.
So you're saying shenanigans?
Call it shenanigans.
Didn't they make the isn't it regional now?
That's what somebody was trying to say, but Morgan Park is in the bracket with the other team.
But I think no, they're in 5A.
Morgan Park is?
Morgan Park's in 5. I think 5A is 1 through 32.
Oh, okay.
I think it's because Kenwood is in 6A, but they're in the northern bracket. And Simeon's in the southern bracket. Yes. I don't know how that happens, but
it's crazy.
You might have a gripe. From what I understand, Simeon has the hardest road to a state title.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Well, good luck with that. My Kenwood Broncos are playing Perspectives this week in the first round. So yeah, good luck to the Broncos.
Okay. Playing Perspectives the Kenwood is the 13th seed. Perspectives is the 4 seed. You got to be kidding me.
I don't make the brackets, man. What can I say? I'm sorry.
You seem to be benefiting from the brackets, though. I mean,
we might. I don't know. Yeah, you got to play the games, man. So I'll be at wherever this game is. I think they haven't announced it yet where the game is going to be Saturday, but I will be there.
Need to play that
on Saturday
behind Kenwood. That's where they should play that at. So play it at Perspectives that they.
Oh man, but hey, let's get started, man. Of course, the big story, seeing that we're recording on Tuesday, was the big Monday night game. Bears and Patriots. Bears gave a thorough ass kicking to the New England Patriots last night. 33-14 win for the Bears. Where did that come from, man? I was not expecting that. I thought the Bears would be in the game. I thought the defense would keep them close, but I didn't expect to win at all three phases of the game the way they did last night.
Wait, the Bears played yesterday?
Oh, you didn't notice?
No, I thought we were just doing the early one because of the Bulls.
That wasn't the team. That wasn't the Bears. Is what he's telling us. Man. He was watching somebody else.
Right.
Man, I definitely agree. Is that I didn't no one expected that. No one. I expected them to come out and continue to be what they have been over. Defense has been playing solid, make the adjustments in game, and couple flashes here or there to keep us in the game, but ultimately we lose the game. That's what I thought, man. And we've said it over and over, but this coaching staff is different, man.
Yeah,
this coaching staff is different. Like I can go as much as I want to heap praise to Justin, because that's a main topic, but this coaching staff, oh my God. The adjustments we see in game.
Mm-hmm.
To have a mini buy is what they've been calling it. And to see the adjustments they made was like, whoa, they completely changed the offense.
Pretty much.
Like
I think they expanded where they were building.
I'll say that. I'll say they expanded it to what a lot of people have been saying, but it's like they waited to the perfect time where they had a longer time to evaluate things and work on things to throw it out there, to roll it out. And on prime time at that, like after the prime time debacle we just had as far as with the Commanders. I'm ultra impressed with this coaching staff, man. And even to the fact that we jumped out 10-0 and then we got zapped. We got zapped. And it looked like it could, the momentum, the energy gone. In the stadium went berserk.
Yeah.
It went berserk. And I'm like, oh man, this could be trouble. And then we came right back down. They went up 14 and we went right down and got a touchdown.
Right. A touchdown.
We got a touchdown, not a field goal. We got a touchdown. And it was like, wow, what are we watching here? Because I thought it was about to be like the Kansas City 49ers game where 49ers jumped up 10-0 and then the rout began.
Ensued, yeah.
And that's why I thought we were headed when that kid came in and went 14 quick. And so I give the coaching staff a lot of credit.
To your point, because it's one thing to evaluate. That's one element that coaching staff always has to constantly continue to do. So it's one thing to evaluate and have the time to do so. So which this little mini buy afforded us. Okay, great, gotcha. You made the evaluations. Now what? Then to institute a game plan that you think can be serviceable, if not entirely useful during the course of the game. That's one thing. That's another thing which coaching staff should do. That's what your job is. Game plan the next team. Okay, you got 11 days, 10 days to do that. Great. But for the coaching staff to also get you to execute it, That's the thing, man. Execution has been killing us. Keep in mind, if we're a better executing team, or a team executes the plays a little bit better than what they have been,
we're above 500.
We're like the Giants. We're that story right next to the Giants. We're probably 4 or 5-2. You know, probably the Green Bay game.
Poor execution versus the Giants.
Right.
Poor execution versus Green Bay.
Minnesota. Horrible execution against Washington.
Like Washington, like those were potentially
winnable games.
Washington was a game that was given
Washington,
to us.
we should have won.
Right. So at the worst, we should be 4-3. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You know, all things being said, because, you know, we're not that team. But point being, they got to, and not that, but on the road against a team that was on a 3-game winning streak, if I remember correctly.
And the defense was shutting people out.
Defense was shutting down people.
It wasn't 34-30.
No.
But they beat Detroit 38-0. Nothing. Like
Detroit was averaging 30 points a game. Detroit was averaging 30 points a game. And to be Cleveland, that's a more, as we would say, talented team, or plays, at least known players with more of a resume, you know, as far as statistical resume showing that they've been effective in the league. You shutting down Chubb and Hunt and what have you. And we did this on the road more impressively, as you mentioned, after losing the lead. It's one thing to be up 10-0, but you know, things can happen, shit turns around, all of a sudden you're behind. Then you gotta overcome not just momentum, but your own like hesitancy. Like, okay, here we go again. That mentality. But no, you fight past it. And that's a credit to the players, most definitely, because they're out there playing and competing, but also to the coaching staff for staying the course and saying, and hey, look, all right, huddle up, hey, on the sidelines, boom. This is what we do. This is what we do. Let's do it. This is what we do. On the road, in not the best of weather. It wasn't the monsoon, but Justin, hey, tip, bro.
Slippery.
Yeah, Justin, get some gloves, bro. When the weather's bad, get some gloves. So you get some tack. Because a couple of times you just fumble the ball, it's just slipping out your hand,
falling out his hand,
hitting your kneecap, and it's just like, come on, man, dude, like stop helping them. You know, stop helping them. So yeah, man, on what you both like, the coaching staff has been doing a really good job. And as much as we, and by we I mean probably Chicagoland, Chicago Bear fans, have been like looking at the GM side-eyed, your 2 first picks came through tremendously.
They are playing at a Pro Bowl level.
They pretty
much
well.
are. They're at least they're at least first team all rookie.
And it was like football guys said, Brisker, I'm going to put you in a position to get that motherfucker back for kicking you in the nuts. And he made a beautiful interception.
Oh my God, that was one of the prettiest interceptions.
Might need him play both ways.
Yeah, I no doubt. She got better hands than, you know, everybody but Mooney on the squad. It looks like
that was tough, man. That was a kick right to the jewels, man.
Yeah,
man.
Ooh.
But hey, way to kick him right back by picking.
Yeah, got him right back. Yeah, a couple plays later. This is what impressed me. Look at the stats here. Total plays: Bears 70, Patriots 48. Rushing yards: Bears rushed for 243 yards.
43.
243. Time of possession: 37-14 for the Bears, 22-46 for the Patriots. But I think the stat of the day today:
third down.
Well, I was gonna go somewhere else, but
okay,
for sure. Third down, 11 of 18.
11 of 18. Yeah.
I sure thought third down was about.
They punted twice last night.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
When's the last time that happened?
I don't know.
I can't remember a time, man. They only punted twice.
Yeah. Well, speaking of special teams,
and
kudos to special teams.
Both of those were after interceptions too.
Yeah.
Both of those were after turnovers.
Yeah. They didn't score after the turnovers. Yeah, nice.
So imagine if we got 2 extra possessions that we actually gave them back.
Right. I mean, here's the thing about, you know, with the 2 rookies, it's not like they just had a game now. They've been playing
They've
well.
Been playing that
year.
way, yeah.
So this is just more of a, y'all are really getting it. Y'all are really getting. Now we can really do some stuff. And let's not forget. I forget the brother's name. Is it Justin Jones or the brother on the defensive line who was batting a lot of the passes?
Joe.
For us.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, dude, that's like veteran level right there, because the young guy's just like, I gotta get to you. He's like, look, can't get to you. So that's coaching. So that's it's little things like that to let you know it's coaching, because a young guy's gonna do what young guys do. I gotta get you, I gotta come after you. That's my thing. And blah blah. Coaching is like, hey, yo, if you can't, this is what you do, because you got the length, blah blah blah. They throw at a low trajectory, or they don't have much on their path, or whatever it is. That dude, Roquan, should say thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much for the gift. Because, and that's coaching, man, because they didn't, the Bears, outside of Roquan's sack, I don't know if the Bears are really sacking these guys. You weren't really getting that kind of, but there was a lot of pressure, though.
There was pressure coming, yeah.
The first quarter, Quinn was looking good. I think he was getting on when Mac was in the game, and then the change happened. But
I can't remember, and Ez might remember the defensive coordinator's name at the time. This was, I want to say, pre-Lovey. He was a black defensive coordinator, and he eventually went to Washington to
Greg Blosh.
Greg Blosh, thank you. Yeah. He said, I don't care about no sacks, it's pressure.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, no, sack, run this fool out of here. You don't want no sack. Because we were so used to the 85 Bears and that 46 defense getting so many sacks. What got lost in the fact was like, well, a lot of the pressure comes with the sacks as well.
Pressure.
And the pressure forces turnovers.
Yeah.
Right. Pressure brush pipes, and forces turnovers. And we saw that last night. We saw the pressure. Mac Jones, it was a punk ass pass, but Mac Jones, it's because of the pressure. He threw a back, punk ass pass, and Brisker, jumped all over it. And it was a very catchable pass.
Yeah.
And then the pressure caused, the deflection that Roquan got the interception, and the pressure caused the fumble exchange. That's pressure. That's the sacks. Hey, no one person got credited a sack on that.
Right.
And pressures, they have that as a stat now. I don't know how much that makes you get paid, but the results were the turnovers, and the turnovers led to the Bears maintaining the time of possession that you mentioned. And dumbass Nagy, you run the fucking ball when you got a lead, so you can have the time of possession, so the other team doesn't get an opportunity to try and come back. Because basically, about 4 or 5 minutes left in the game, Belichick's like, I can see game over.
Mm-hmm. And then people were mad that we didn't go for the 40. but yeah, first play of the game showed me that this was about to be different. First play was a call quarterback run, and I'm like, okay, what are we about to see here today? Because it hasn't been outside of when we are like on a goal line. Them kind of been the only times we've seen quarterback runs. So like that first play, I'm like, okay, what are we about to see here? And like, to go to Justin, just the magic he was making on some of them third downs with his feet.
Yeah.
The 3rd and 14, the 3rd and 8, like those are backbreakers.
Backbreakers.
Those that happens to us.
Right. With quarterbacks that aren't as athletic.
Exactly. We've seen that happen to us. And like, I knew when he did the 3rd, because the 3rd and 14 one came, I think, when we were down 14-10.
Right. That was a crucial down.
When he did that one, I knew we were not losing the game.
Oh, okay. You knew better than me.
Because at that point, I'm like, that just did it for the Patriots. They like, okay, what the hell are we going to do here? At that point, we were able to pretty much do what we wanted to do, especially with the running game.
It's weird because I'm wondering, like, did they have a spy on Justin? And if they did, I couldn't tell.
They did early. I don't know if they stuck with it though.
And it's weird because it reminded me of Lenny Wilkins not doubling Michael Jordan when he got the Cavaliers. Like, no, we're going to stick with what we do. This is who we are. We're going to play man. I'm like, the man is getting you killed. And it's like, whatever the Patriots did, they weirdly, we're talking about, making adjustments in game. The Patriots didn't really adjust to what Justin was doing. They really didn't. And Justin, at one point, right before the half, I'm like, I know that brother's tired. I'm glad he's got that new breathing technique down, because he's running his ass off. But they stuck with it. They, being the Bears, stuck with it, and the Patriots stuck with what wasn't working, which was really weird to see that from a Patriots Belichick coach team. And you can watch, and it's funny, man. You know, the national narrative, how they come in with what they expect things to be and how they stay on it. And every now and again, they kept joking about, you get those little side comments like they didn't know what to expect. Like, okay, hey, we got a game now. Like they were expecting some BS. Yeah. They were expecting Washington and Chicago from the week before. You know what I'm saying? They were expecting like low scoring, unfun, boring. They're like, hey, we got a game here.
Or expecting them to
run ramshot over us.
Run over. Yeah.
Right. And then all of a sudden, now you start seeing, it's like, okay, now it's like you see the director of the game. It's like, okay, let's focus on Eberflus. You kept seeing, now you start seeing these cut shots of Eberflus looking, intense, like, not like a poker face, up here like, oh, he's doing a really masterful job here. And, blah, blah, blah. And then you can see how that narrative shift mid-game. So, hey, kudos to the telecast for recognizing, hey, we need to pivot on this initial story we had.
You clearly know what Glenn does for a living.
But it's interesting when you see that stuff, man. It's just like, okay. And because when Zap, however you say his name, was making those plays, all of a sudden he started cutting to all these signs popped out of nowhere. Yeah. Zap this, zap that. Where's Zippy? I'm like, yo, he wasn't even starting. You didn't even know who was starting.
The backup quarterback is always the most popular guy on the team. Man,
that stadium
lost it.
Was so quiet before he came in that game. Mm-hmm. I'm like, golly, I gotta turn the volume down on this TV, man. What is going on here? They were so loud. And then he produced quick.
It looked like Jim McMahon coming in against the Vikings, coming in off the bench throwing TDs, setting up stuff.
He looked like he was about to cancel Mac out, and then
I thought he won the job at that point.
The Bears saved Mac job.
Well, it's interesting because Lisa Salter comes back after halftime and she's on the sideline saying, well, I spoke with Coach Belichick and he said that was part of the game plan all along, that both quarterbacks are going to play. I'm like, that's BS if I've ever heard it. But okay,
they both were probably going
to play. They talked to him.
Yeah, what I'm saying is
the way he did it,
the way he did
it, you realize
it was supposed to go.
Right, it was like at some point he tweaked it a little bit sooner, and you realize, because it looked like a benching, because guess what? That's what it was.
It was what it was. You sit him right after interception.
After interception, but it wasn't just interception. It was the lack of anything. The other two plays, like the offense isn't moving, and you throw an interception. Mm-hmm. I got to get you out. Let's do this a little bit sooner.
Only way they got first downs was him running.
That
was the only way they got first downs.
Yeah,
and then it was like once Zappy came in, it was like the Bears defense. I'm like, now we're going to be undisciplined. What are we doing now? Like,
right.
Let Stevenson come out the back wide open, then the guy wide open over there. I'm like,
that pass to Jacoby was horrible. He had time enough to turn his whole body around backwards, catch the ball, and do a worm, a worm move into the end zone. Like he, from Electric Boogaloo part 2, he boogalooed his ass into the end zone. It's like
both those passes, even the one
Parker was double covered.
Yeah. I mean, Johnson was there. Johnson was there.
That's a good catch.
But it was a good catch, but Johnson went at it poorly. And then who was the safety that was right there? Was it Brisker? I think Brisker was right there. Just like stop watching him catch the ball.
Man, hit him.
Hit him, right?
Especially if you're in the air, hit him out of bounds.
Hit him out of bounds, right? I'm like, oh my God. And then going back to that telecast, I get all these shots to Belichick, like, okay, here's a genius again. He made the move at the right time. And, here's Brady part 2, blah, 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 blah.
Maybe he is a genius. He was the one that said the Bears were a solid football team.
He did say that shit.
Got a really good offensive line. And Fields does a lot. He's hard to stop, and the backs are good. He named just about every player on the team. Okay, so maybe he was up to something.
Well, maybe he helped the Bears coaching staff be like, oh, okay. So we are. All right, you know what? Maybe he's right. Maybe we should use our running backs a little more often.
I did notice at the end of the game, though, usually when Belichick goes to the middle of the field to give the handshake, it's usually just a quick handshake and out.
Okay.
He actually said some words to Eberflus. I don't know what he said, but it
he kept Eberflus there because Eberflus looked like he thought it was going to be be Belichick's typical thing, and he kept Eberflus there, telling him something.
I would love to hear what exactly. I know we're not going to find that out, but I want to say it was complimentary. Like, you had your guys ready to play tonight, because I've never seen that before from Belichick, even with when he's going against his own guys.
Well, I know, and I'm not tooting the horn here or anything, but just it reminds me of our last podcast, and we were talking about this game, and keeping it real, I did not expect the Bears to win this game because the way the Patriots been playing, they were on the road, and the way we've been playing. But I did say that Eberflus, he's not unaccustomed to playing against Belichick.
You did.
And so I'm like, I don't think we'll be taken unawares. I think defensively will be okay. I was just worried about what we were going to do offensively to execute, to enough to win the game. So I think all that to say that conversation between Belichick and Eberflus in the middle of the field, there's a little bit of history, not so much between them individually, but in terms of being competitors and having my team against your team, and I don't know how often the Colts played the Patriots in the last 4 or 5 years when Eberflus was the DC there, but I'm sure they did play them, and there's something to that there. And so Eberflus, like I said, he's going to have an idea of at least he'll have his players in position. Whether or not they make the plays, remains to be seen. But last night they did, and the Bears showed a lot of intestinal fortitude as a team. And what Justin was saying, I'm tired of being close. Even the national media, chimed in on that. I'm tired of being close. So like, okay. So I'm seeing little things where Justin throughout the year has shown those leadership or those like, hey, like, F it, let's do it. Like, let's do it.
You know what that I'm tired of being close give me the feel of?
What's that?
Why can't I be MVP?
Okay, wow. Nice. I like that.
Derrick Rose, when he said that, that's what that give me feel of. But like, man, with Eberflus and Belichick, it might be the fact that Belichick probably like, look, we got to hold it down for being the defensive coaches because we like an extinction. They don't want defensive coaches for these young quarterbacks. Like, we got to keep it going. But yeah,
I like your 2020 pick. I like your 21 pick better than my 2021 pick. That's what he said.
Right. Hey, and something to be said about that, man. Justin, it's like he got a hit list.
No,
yeah, he should. He's beat all everybody except for Zach Wilson.
He should, and he's on the docket. He's on the docket this year.
He's next. Yeah.
Hey, I am tooting the horn a little bit, not a whole bunch, but I got a chance to call in on AM 1000 to talk to Cap and Hoodie yesterday morning. And one of the things I said to them, I was like, look, man, you look at all those quarterbacks that are taking the same year as Justin, they're all struggling. Ain't nobody stepped up and really, Mac Jones had the better season last year, but he's having what we would have thought last year would have been this year. Right. He actually started playing a little bit worse towards the end of the year. And don't forget that one game where they barely threw the freaking ball and they ran
three passes.
Yeah, that lets you know that you ain't where you need to be. But all these quarterbacks are struggling, and even having success, even like Mac Jones did, or some modicum of success like Lawrence has had from time to time, these guys have way better situations of talent around them on both sides of the ball than Justin has. So I'm like, look, all things considered, our guy has been weathering the storm with a lot less going forward. So I feel better about his prospects, going forward individually, being able to weather that. And like I keep making the pair, and it's ironic that, Aikman's making a call yesterday. It was Aikman, right? Last night on the call. Last night, that, and again, last week saying like, dude, what the abuse Justin's taking reminds me very much of what Aikman was going through. his rookie season with Dallas Cowboys back in the day. So, and I say that with the hopes that, we get a couple of championships, or we're in a position to be able to play for some championships once things come through. And I feel better about that, not just because of Justin, but like we've time and time again talked about this coaching staff making the adjustments. Now, nobody is going to be gone off this coaching staff onto a different team next year. Our DC is still going to be our DC, and our OC is still going to be our OC. So the next couple of years, with some talent, with the money influx coming in from the rise in the cap and some free agency and some draft capital, look, man, we got a chance. And you look at the quarterback situation in our division going forward. Cousins is towards the tail end of his career. Rodgers has got one foot out the door and one foot with some other door. And, basically the Lions are going to be drafting, they're hopefully for them, their franchise quarterback, they'll be drafting him next year. So we got a bit of a
Detroit.
Right. Well, and Detroit's going to Detroit, but
Lions
Detroit
gonna line.
Lions going to line, but be careful. But be careful whether or not it's the same coaching staff or not. There are a lot of good players, young players in place, so that if this coaching staff stays the same, it could mirror to some degree what the Bengals did, where you've got some things in place. You get the quarterback, but everybody else is kind of like growing into their roles, and the quarterback has a little bit of help growing into his, so he can exponentially elevate his growth maturation a little bit sooner. So, but that's I'm putting the cart before the horse, and that's down the line. But I'm all that to say that I like where we're headed to some degree. I'm not getting all excited and saying, oh, we're going to win 9 games or anything like that. What I'm saying is, and we've talked about it from the beginning of the season, before the season began up to now, what we want to see is this team grow. We've talked about Justin a lot growing, but we still need to see the team grow. The offensive line needs to grow. The draft picks we got in the secondary need to grow. We need to figure out who's going to stay, who needs to leave. The coaching staff needs to learn how to evaluate, adjust, and move forward. All these things are happening incrementally, and it's a slow grind. It's going to be a slow grind of a season. And there are going to be games that we win that we don't expect to win. San Francisco win last night. And there will be games that we lose we don't expect to lose. Washington. So what I'm saying is the pluses and minuses are going to kind of balance themselves out to some degree, but along that line, we want to see incremental growth. We don't want to see a up here and then a dip down and all that bullshit crap we saw with the Nagy thing, where it was really high and then the low was like, below surface.
You know what? Like, now that you mentioned that, where you said like beat teams we didn't think we should have and lost to teams we think we should have beat. But I think if everyone was to, at the beginning of the season, put the schedule in front of them, after 7 games, everyone would have had the Bears 3, at best 3 and 4.
Yes, at best 3. I agree. At best 3 and 4.
Right? I'm sure a lot of people would have had us beating the Texans. We beat them.
And when we say at best, reasonable people, not meatheads.
Right. A lot of people would have had us beating the Texans. A lot of people would have probably had us beating the Giants.
Right.
And a lot of people would have had us beating Washington.
Exactly.
No one would have had us beating San Francisco.
Green Bay, Minnesota. Right.
So after 7 games, we're where
pretty much
we thought we would be, with two good wins and one
really bad loss.
Yeah. One very bad loss. Yeah. Like, it's crazy. Mention the O-line, they made some changes on the O-line.
Well,
Lucas Patrick got hurt early.
Yeah, so they moved Patrick to center, which actually I think sparked something in the early goings.
That's what I was. That's why I wanted to touch on it.
And
I thought it did.
Yeah, he got hurt. They brought Mustapher back in.
It's a video.
Who's the guard, the left guard, who's in for Whitehair now? What is his name?
Don't.
79.
Great question. Don't know. I have to look that up.
I got it for you. It is Schofield, Michael Schofield.
Oh, okay.
The left side of that line looked good last night.
They attacked them more on the left side. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Did y'all in the first half, third possession when Fields got sacked? Did y'all see Mustapher It's a video that I will send to y'all. Oh my God.
What happened?
He was blocking no one.
Oh,
He was literally running around.
That's Sam for you.
Trying to find somebody to block. Like running this, man, it's hilarious. Oh man. I want to say it was his first drive. It was his first time in the game. At least because he wasn't in the game when Patrick was in the game, right? He wasn't at another
No,
position.
he wasn't. No,
right. So it was the first possession that he was in the game. And
but that's the possession where Fields threw the pick, right?
Sacked. No. It was the one where he got sacked.
Well, I know that's
first.
the play, but I'm saying but he threw the pick on that possession though. I believe.
Was it that possession? I thought it was the next possession.
Was the next? Okay.
Because we punted that possession. Did we punt? No, it might have.
No, I think it was a pick. Yeah,
it had to be the same possession.
Yeah,
had to be the same.
Because I noted. I actually know. I was like, oh wait, Patrick's not in this game. Because I was actually at that point. I was watching the Manning cast, and they didn't show. At least I didn't see where Patrick got carted off. So I didn't know Patrick was out of the game. And then I saw 60s. I was like, oh wait, that's why. But they put it together, and then the fullback, Kari Blasingame.
His first game active, wasn't it?
No, he's played.
Oh, okay,
but first thing he laid some blocks last night.
Well, I know they said
especially on the goal line.
Harry and a fullback was active this week, so I thought maybe.
No, he had played before.
Okay,
but he laid some wood last night, man. Especially on the touchdown. You see the Montgomery touchdown. Yeah. He was the lead and had that seal block. And Montgomery had been in the end zone for a couple minutes, it seemed, and last game was still taking that dude through the ground, man. So yeah, shout out to the fullback. We don't give props to the fullbacks all the time, man. It's a endangered species in the NFL. Hey. Gotta have a fullback, man. I'm a big believer in the fullback.
Dude, I'm with you, man. Even if my fullback is a converted tight end H-back, dude, I'm with you.
No, I want because the H-backs, they don't know how to get low and get the butts down and drive.
All depends. If you got a good one, you got a good one. But my point, I'm with you. Somebody who can lead block.
Yeah. Bears going to Dallas this week.
I'll enjoy this win.
That defense is serious, man. Dallas defense.
Mr. Micah Parsons, a la this generation's Lawrence Taylor is serious.
Yeah. I hold deep. What's his name? The linebacker. Van Der Esch.
They do a super athlete, super athletic. Yeah. It's like a really poor man's version of Urlacher.
Yeah.
But he's long, fast, and as long as he stays healthy, he's a problem.
They got some players over there on that side of the ball. So yeah, that's just that should be an interesting one. That's gonna be a test.
It's really gonna be interesting because it's like. This schedule seems a lot like last year where it was up and down. And it was like you have a good up like we have with Minnesota and you expect to go up more versus Washington. That didn't happen. We went down. And you definitely thought we was going to stay down versus New England. And we went up. So I don't know what to expect. I'm going to go with what we've been seeing, and Dallas defense is going to be dominant. Hopefully we can just continue to be
it. Maybe they play up to their competition, man. They
is that what you're thinking?
Think about this.
No, because
think about this now. They beat San Francisco, right? Everybody would say it's a pretty good team, right?
Our better showing.
Yeah, Green Bay was
better teams,
but they showed up against Minnesota, right? They show up against New England. Now, obviously, they didn't beat Minnesota, but they were in that. I mean, it was a game. So maybe they can
Texans, even though we won.
Even they won, yeah. That's it. They played down too. Washington. Everybody would say it's a bad football team. They lost that game. Excuse me. So
it's gonna be interesting. I mean, open as a 10-point dog.
Maybe they show up for Dallas. Is it 10?
That's what I believe they said it's supposed to open up as.
Wow. Okay. I would take those points.
I have to see if it would drop.
Wow. Remember when we said they had 10 days to play this team? We have less amount of days.
Less than that to play
against.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And if we're catching them, and it's Dak Prescott's first game back, maybe our defense can do enough to do some things to force some turnovers to keep this game close. But we're gonna need help from Dallas, or our defense is gonna have to help Dallas help us, because their defense, man. I mean, it's crazy because we did what we did last night against the Patriots, but now Dallas has some film work to look at. Now they get a chance to prepare for Justin running on purpose. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't know if you guys watched it or not. This is going back. I'm pulling, shit out the air kind of thing, but it was a meet the rookies kind of thing when Justin was a rookie. Now, Justin and Micah from the same class, and it was featuring Kyle Pitts, Micah Parsons, Justin Fields, and the cornerback from the Carolina Panthers, Horn. J.C. Horn, right. And there was a friendly they were all working out together at the same place. There's a friendly competition between Justin. This is before the combine, before the combine and before the personal workouts at their universities. And so Justin and Micah had this personal thing where I'm going to run faster than you. So Micah, at his pro day at Penn State, or at the combine, ran like a 4.39. He's like, this Justin, hey, let Justin know. You hear the audio. He's like, let him know. I ran a 4.39. Yeah. You got that? I ran a 4.39. And so Justin had his pro day later. He's at Ohio State, and Justin slipped and still ran a 4.4. But that slip might have cost him his bet. My point being, Micah and Justin have a personal, relationship / competition, and they're Big Ten guys from Penn State and Ohio State. And if there's anybody that's going to track Justin down to keep Justin from running the 30, 40 yards or 15-yard scampers, it's going to be Micah Parsons. So I don't expect Justin to have 80 yards rushing like he did last night. Long story to say, Micah's going to be in Justin's shirt. Then you can believe that.
All right, we'll see.
Let's see.
Hey, let's move on to the other big game from last night. Ironically, it was another Chicago versus Boston.
Right.
This time the Bulls and the Celtics.
And speaking of shirts, it's like shirt and skins, but then it got flipped to shirts and skins again. Like the person that was wearing shirts was wearing skins, and skins was wearing shirts. That game was a tale of two cities.
So the Celtics came out on fire. It was like 14-0 at one point, man.
Yeah. Yes.
They got it up to 19. And at that point, I was like, well, I might as well just continue watching the Bears game here. Mind you, I was working on a Bulls show, but neither here nor there. And then all of a sudden I looked up and the Bulls were within 3. It was like 44-41. And I'm like, whoa, wait. How
what just happened?
What is going on? And going back, the bench came in. Javonte Green, Alex Caruso, Drummond, Jones Jr. Yeah, Dragic came in and hit some big shots.
Jones Jr. with that length.
Yeah. And that's who brought the Bulls back into that game. Was the bench, almost like a bench mob situation there. And from that point on, they took the lead and never looked back. This was late in the second quarter, I believe. Yeah.
They went on a 70 to between the second quarter and third quarter, 70-40 run.
Crazy.
That's crazy. And it's funny you mentioned that, Ez, because I'm watching the game, and I'm seeing it afterwards. I'm watching. I already know the result and everything, but I'm watching the starting unit just get torched. They're just getting blistered. And the thing is, they were just missing a lot of shots. It wasn't like the Boston was just playing great defense. They were missing point. Like Zach missed a layup, and guys are missing layups, and Vucevic is missing putbacks, and it's just like, dude, like someone put a lid on the rim and said, no, you're just not gonna get it. They had wide open 3-point shots and just clanging it. It's just like, what is going on? When they called a timeout, when they put in the bench, and initially it was, you saw the three guys. I want to say it was Green, Dragic, and Drummond came out, or no, maybe Caruso. Might have been 3 or the 4 or whatever. But Caruso, Dragic, and Drummond, I saw them walking out, and dude, I automatically said, "There's an aura about the Bulls' second unit." Like, I'm looking at the second unit, I'm like, y'all are like kind of like starters. But in the years past, the second unit's been a lot of younger guys. You got 3 more veteran guys coming in who've been through playoff series, not games, series. And they came out, dude. I'm like, okay, I feel better about our situation going forward. Like, they're gonna slow down. You know, things. Boston's not gonna just keep doing what they're doing, and we're gonna be able to get back in this game. Now, of course, I know that, you know, after the fact, but we've seen them do this before. We saw it in the Miami game. It's like, and we said, like, man, the second unit is probably what's going to keep this team in most games, because you're not going to outplay them.
Right.
You're just not going to outplay them. You're just not. And because of some of the guys, because they do have a guy like Caruso and a guy like Green, a guy like Jones, you got a lot of hustle. And DeSumo should be coming off the bench with these guys. You know, if Ball was healthy, you'd have DeSumo as well. I'm looking at that second unit. I'm like, y'all second unit is probably top 3 in the league right now, hands down. Seriously.
I can say in the preseason, I thought Dragic was cooked. He's been one of the better players for the Bulls through this first, and I'm like, okay, that's the difference between a vet knowing the preseason and the regular season.
That's that veteran, that veteran savvy right there.
Because
I don't play in the preseason.
Man, I'm like, golly, he looks awful out here. and now he looks like I say, he looks like one of the best 3 to 4 players on the team.
Well, he's the best floor leader, starter or otherwise. He's the best floor leader right now. I'm not saying he's the greatest guy since, you know, point guard position was created. On this team, he's the best floor leader right now. And he's going to make his mistakes, but I'm like, no, I'm pretty confident he's going to hit the right guy at the right time. He's not going to turn the ball over unnecessarily. He takes some whack shots here and there, but okay, it's the NBA. Who doesn't, right? But him and Drummond, it's like instant connection, you know. And Drummond ain't a shot blocker, but he's a legit rim protector. Yeah,
he's a legit rim protector, and he has personality.
And he can get the rebound.
Something that I've always wanted.
Yes.
You always looking at him like he might steal on somebody.
He calls and pause.
You don't know what's about to happen with him. He always give that look like, is he about to lash out right here? What is about to happen?
You need that fear sometimes.
Airball the alley-oop dunk yesterday. That was hilarious. Did y'all see that?
Wait, I thought so. I edit video. And I was, scrolling through the game, and I saw the replay. Like fast forwarding, saw the replay, and I thought he yammed it. I was like, "Oh!" I went back, and I was like, "Oh, he didn't get it." But if it fast forward, I was like, "Oh wow!" I thought he got it.
Hey, but man, I hate to go to the other side of this. Should Pat Wilby just coming off the bench?
I think he should be at the end of the bench.
I think yes and no, because I don't know who. Because he's 6'9". We don't have someone his size, his width, his athleticism.
But he don't play 6'9" though.
He doesn't. But what I did know,
he does when he's with lesser talent on the floor with him.
True. Here's the thing. I think he needs. It's weird, man. It comes to the coaching staff knowing when to play and when not to play at the end of the day. But remember how the Bulls in the Bulls heyday, when Cartwright was here, the first three-peat, the first 5 minutes of the game, you got to get the ball to Cartwright. You get him involved in the game, the offense flows better. When they didn't get him involved early, the offense would struggle. That's just how it was. He might score 2 points. He might score 4. Hell, he might go crazy and score 8. Okay. But him touching the ball, the dynamic was different. I watched last night, and P. Will, especially the first 2-3 minutes, you saw him actually attack the basket. I'm like, whoa, okay, yeah, it didn't go in, but that's okay. And I think that's what we need to get you started doing that. And I think with the Bulls, to be successful with their starting, because the starting unit is struggling. To be successful, getting out the gate. Now, the starting unit is better like in the third quarter or the second time it comes out there, it's better. It's weird. I don't know why they can't start better. But I think they'll start better. And they had the shots. They just missed a lot of them yesterday. I think they'll play better as a starting unit when Pat Will plays more aggressively, whether or not he scores, as long as he attacks the basket and is an active body. Now, he missed his first 3 or 4 or 5 shots. And then it looked like the proverbial, I think I'm going to speak for myself. I'm not going to put you all in my shit, but there's the times where I'm trying to make the shot you're trying to guide it in, and it's you're begging, like, just please just go in. I just need to see the ball go through the hoop. Looked like he was begging a little bit, but he was still taking a shot. After he came back and made that block, it was like a help block. From behind, he made the block. I think it might have been on Tatum or Jalen, one of the guys. It was like, okay, yeah. And then he seemed like he was like, okay, I'm back in it. So he needs to be aggressive, whether it's offensively or defensively. He needs to be aggressive early on for that first unit to play a little bit better. And what it does is I think it makes the other team have to at least acknowledge his presence out there. Because otherwise, the other teams are playing 5-on-4.
How much do you believe in plus minus?
I'm slowly starting to believe in it. And that's not to say that stats can't lie to you. But I think for basketball, it's always, to me, it was like a hockey stat until recently. As a basketball stat, I think it does make a difference. And again, sorry everybody, I only have NBA 2K to kind of have a hands-on thing. But there are times where I notice just by playing the game, I'm like, what's the plus minus? I'm like, you know what? That person makes a difference on the field. It's kind of the longer. I think at some point, somehow or the other, they make it. So a guy like Caruso, he should always have a plus minus because he's an active dude.
Okay. Caruso plus 29 last night.
Makes sense.
Pretty good. Let's see. Jones Jr. plus 16. Drummond plus 16.
What are the starters?
Huh?
The
starters?
Go to
starters. I'm getting to that.
Because the benches, we already discovered the bench is what turned everything around.
Ayo, 4 for 4 from 3 plus 2. Zach LaVine plus 4. Vooch plus 1. DeRozan plus 1. Pat Williams minus 9. He was the only Bull with a minus.
Yeah, makes sense.
In the plus minus.
But you know what? It was plus minus 9, or sorry, it was a minus 9 yesterday. I venture if you go back, it's been worse minus.
It was a minus 23 against Cleveland.
That's what I'm saying. So actually,
well, I'll venture to say everybody. I haven't looked at it, but I would venture to say everybody in that game was minus.
No, but the point, if we can stay on P. Will, is that like that number line when we were a kid and we learned arithmetic back in 3rd grade. You go to number line, it's a negative. It's a plus, even though it's still negative. It's like his minus 23. His minus 9 is more positive than his minus 23 was. He's moving up that number line in a positive direction. So build on that. So hey, maybe tomorrow or next game, whatever the next game is, maybe it's -1 or it's 0. You in Chicago, get out of the negatives, get a little warmer when it's get to 10. Get to a plus. If he can play at a +4 or 5 for the month of November, that's a win for us.
He was the only Bulls that wasn't in the negative against Cleveland.
Oh, he wasn't in the negative. So when he had a minus 23 one game.
He was at a 0.
He had a 0.
But what was his time on the court? Did he play a lot?
He played 16 minutes.
See, he in the past he's been averaging like 26 minutes with like 2 points or 3 points and nothing. So you that's what I'm saying, that the coaching staff's got to know, and it's figuring out, and it's unfortunate you got to put so much energy towards a athletically talented player or person like himself. But if you got to hold his hand while you still got him, hold his hand to your benefit. you limit so he starts, but doesn't mean he gets a bulk of the time. And then get the second unit in there, get the flow going. When you got a positive flow, stick him in so he doesn't hurt you if he goes negative, but he can still kind of ride some of that wave of whatever the offense or the defense is doing, the team is doing while they're out there, and then bring him out. He's not going to be there in the last 5 minutes of the game, not unless he's just playing, not until he proves himself.
Well, Glenn, this is your guy, man. You were the one that pushed P. Will on us.
Yeah.
In the draft. So I'm putting this on you.
No doubt. And I take full responsibility. And, keep in mind, his rookie year, you got LeBron James saying stuff like, hey, this dude has got some talent. You got, even Kawhi, like, hey, and we were talking about it. He was drawing the hardest assignment.
Yeah.
And he was quote unquote holding his own. He was showing it. That holding, he was showing. Last night he got beat a couple of times backdoor, which was bad. It's like, dude, it's like, ball, man, he was going man himself ball. He had it all backwards. And Tatum, again, Tatum torching you is not like it's, an embarrassing thing. The guy's the MVP candidate. So, but it looked bad because his back was turned on a couple of plays and he was just getting beat, where it's just like, dude, if nothing else, you should defensively be like Caruso. If I can't do nothing else defensively, I'm going to excel. And I think that's where he's got to, garner his flow in the game from his defensive activity so that his offense will flow a little more easily. And, he stepped into some shots that, he shied away from last year. And that's a good sign that someone's clearly, they're like, you got to be aggressive. And whether it's his teammates, the coaching staff, all the above, his family, or, whoever playing a video game, he realized he should be better. Whatever the case is, I said it last time, I'll say it again. This team is a much better team when he's playing actively and offering some type of production. It really kind of doesn't completely hinge on him, but that starting unit, it kind of, he's a factor. Whether he's conscious or cognizant of it or not, he's a factor. For good or ill, he's a factor.
All right, well, rest of the week, we got Indiana, San Antonio, and the Philadelphia 76ers come to
3-0, baby. 3-0. 3-0. We got this.
Winnable games.
3-0. 3-0.
You know our recent history with Philly. I don't know.
Hey, let Embiid score his 60 points. Just keep
Okay.
everybody else at 40.
All right.
So we can win 105 to 100.
All right.
B's gonna get his. We ain't got nobody to stop him. That's a given, unless he takes the night off for load management.
Mm-hmm.
Hint, hint. Take the night off for load management, please.
Hey, for time's sake, let's move on to picks here. And it was a decent week for all of us. We all went 2-1 this past week.
I snapped the Falcon streak.
So I hit on the Jets and the Giants. My Hampton Pirates didn't show up for homecoming, man.
You bet with your heart, man.
The line we got 20.5 from the Richmond Spiders, and they came in and whooped us 41-10. But from all the pictures I saw, I wasn't able to get down to homecoming, but it looked like everybody had a good time down there. So I guess the game didn't hurt the party. So I guess that's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. Smoke, you missed the Falcons, but you hit on the Panthers, who got after the big trade this week of Christian McCaffrey to the 49ers. They came out and put a whooping on TB12 and the Bucks, and you hit on the Raiders, who had a big win.
Dude, can we go back to that Panthers Buccaneers? That done made no God blessed sense, man.
2 weeks in a row, the Bucks have been double-digit favorites.
What?
2 weeks in a row, they haven't lost.
The hell outright? What? And 3 points? Y'all fools scored 3 points?
Well, they should have at least had the tutty on the.
They did, yeah.
The Mike Evans drop where he was.
You scored 3 points,
wide open on the post.
But you scored. Okay, so you lose 21-10. You scored 3 points.
Brady, I think that drop just killed all morale at that point.
Oh, y'all some professionals.
That was a beautiful pass by Tom Brady. Man. It was a good route. It was a really good route.
Everything was good.
Oh man, I saw. I was like, oh no! I
feel like we getting set up.
I thought he was gonna catch it on the bounce, like when it hit off his hands, and I thought it was gonna be like a great catch. He's gonna make it, harder than it should have been, but he would have caught it, and he missed it. But
yes, he did. He really did miss it.
And then Glenn, you got a nice cover for Syracuse.
Dude, I thought they were going outright. They were really close.
Almost did, yeah.
Man.
And you hit the Chiefs.
Yeah, that was a layup
against the 49ers, but you missed on UCLA.
Yeah, that was a beat down.
All right, so Glenn, you're still the leader at 13-8. Smoke, you're at 10-1. That's as 500 as you can get, and and I'm at a low 6-13-2. That's gonna be hard. Like I won some games this week and didn't make up no ground. All right, so let's get started. I guess it's on me. All right, I'm gonna start off. I got a win with them last week. I'm gonna stick with them. The New York Football Giants are getting 3 from Seattle, going out west. So I'm going to take the Giants in that one. I'm going to take the Rams. I know
what?
They're getting 1.5. So I'm going to take the Rams at home against the San Francisco 49ers.
That second meeting came early.
Yeah. And I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are 2.5 point favorites over the Broncos. I'm taking the Jags. All right, Smoke, who you got?
See if they can redeem themselves. I'm gonna go Falcons at -4.5 versus Carolina. I'm going to go Dolphins -3 versus the Lions. And I'm going to go Raiders -2 versus the Saints.
All pro. Nobody likes college.
I lose all my money in college, man. All right, GM, what you got?
All right, well, I'm gonna ride them Panthers, man. They seem to be a different team. They don't have to worry about trying to force feed McCaffrey, I suppose. And so I'm gonna take the Panthers getting 4.5 on the road in Atlanta. So Panthers 4.5 against the Falcons.
They get 2 wins back to back. Baker might as well retire.
Yeah, they might as well. Hell, the division is winnable. They're back in the division race.
They're only 1 game out right now.
And they beat Tampa Bay, so they got the ups on them. Matter of fact, I think all their 2 wins are against the teams in their division, if I remember correctly. So anyway, moving on. I'm going to take the Mac Jones had his head down the press conference. He's looking sad. And I think Zappy is nice, but I think the Bears kind of exposed a few things. So I'm going to take them Jets with that active-ass defense. I know they lost running back, but they picked up James Robinson. So I think
I was scared. I wanted to pick them. I was scared because of Brees being out.
Yeah, but they picked up James Robinson, so I think they'll keep some offensive continuity in that regard. Now, the young guy, the quarterback's going to have to step up his game and complete some passes. But again, I think the Bears showed you don't have to throw 30 yards downfield to beat the New England. And New England got beat up last. We didn't talk about that. New England the Bears were very physical with New England last night.
Yeah.
And one thing we do know, we've seen the Jets defense can be very
physical. Right. So
can be very physical.
I'm gonna go on that line of physicality and say that the Jets are going to win because of their youth and physicality, and they're feeling themselves right now. And they're at home, and they're an underdog, even though it's a 1.5 point underdog. They're an underdog. So I'm gonna take the Jets plus 1.5 against the Patriots, and then we'll go college. My heart wants to go to my Volunteers, but my mind says don't mess them up. So I'm gonna leave that game alone. Instead, I'm gonna stay in the Southeastern Conference, and I'm going to take South Carolina, who's quietly playing better -4 against the Missouri Tigers. I think South Carolina at home is a different team at home than they are away. And I think they got a little energy right now going forward. I think they're 5-2 right now, something like that. So quiet 5-2. So those are my 3 games. Panthers +4.5 against the Falcons on the road. Jets at home, underdog 1.5, and Mizzou giving up 4 against the Tigers from Missouri.
All right. Wait, they're giving.
I'm sorry, South Carolina, the Gamecocks -4.5.
Okay.
Against the Tigers from Mizzou. Yeah.
All right. Hey, before we go, I want to give a quick shout out to my cousin, Jordan McCann, coach at Loyola for the women's program. Him and his wife had a baby girl over the weekend. So I want to congratulate Jordan and Nia.
Cigars for everyone. Big Pop.
He's a long-time listener of the show. Like we've been on for forever. But yeah, since we started, he's
we approaching what?
Dedicated listener.
3 years?
Almost, yeah.
Almost. We're approaching year 3. It don't even seem like it's been that long.
So I just wanted to give a shout out to my man Jordan. So congratulations, buddy. With that's going to do it for this week's edition of the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. I want to thank you for listening. We greatly appreciate it. You can catch our podcast at Apple Podcasts, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, or wherever you find your favorite podcast. You can also catch us at hp53productions.com. There you'll find a link to our podcast, as well as the Super Duper podcast hosted by Rob Griggs and the Father Good podcast hosted by Marshall Givens and Kenny Stevenson. Yo, Glenn.
Yep.
Please take us out.
Hey, like we always say, we ain't saying we're right. We just know that Papa Bear Hallis wasn't wrong when he started Chicago Bears NFL. Give it up to the Bears, baby.
Still number 2.
Still number 2.
We'll catch you next week.